Good morning, everyone, and welcome back to Breakfast with Bobbi. I am your co-host, Kristina. I'm here with the lovely Bobbi Clubino, and you get just the two of us today. And I know my camera keeps going in and out of focus. Did you see that?
I did.
That is so weird.
Speaking of that, that just sort
Mhm.
of brings us to the next subject, all of the energy that's around these days. It's
Yeah,
crazy stuff. And look at what just happened to you on your camera. It was like somebody adjusted it, readjusted it, and here we are. And
yeah.
we're not sure what's going to happen next.
Stay tuned. It could get weird. Um,
It's already really weird, but
okay,
we're
so
up for really weird.
for those of you who may have been interested, we actually do have
We
Breakfast
do.
with Bobby coffee mugs available. I have to do like this opposite thing. I've got a tea bag and everything in here. Um, they are $18, and all you have to do is get a hold of one of us, and we will get your contact information and have one shipped off to you. So, super excited about that. Uh,
You
what
know,
else is
I
going on?
the cups are gorgeous. They are sturdy. They are larger than usual cups,
Hmm.
and they are beautifully done. And I
Yeah.
never ever in my whole life thought I'd pay $18 for a coffee cup, but these are worth every penny of it. And oh, anyway, so on to the next thing. What's going on? What's
What's
going
going
on?
on? What's going on is, from what I can tell, absolute pandemonium. What is going on? The weather's been crazy here in Wisconsin. I mean,
Yes.
where I live, it's like we've been spared. All of the storms have gone either north or south of us. But like I'm in like this little bubble. Like
Really?
we had rain, but we haven't had. Well, there have been there. I guess I read on Facebook that there were some parts of town that were out of power, but they were like north of where we are located. It's really interesting. Um, I know that the Janesville area south of Madison has just been getting hammered.
Yeah.
Like they've had two major storm fronts in as many days, and it's just been crazy. Um, so the weather's been crazy. We had a beautiful 71, 72-degree day yesterday. It's pushing 90 right now.
And sticky and
And
ugly.
sticky and ugly, and tomorrow, boom, right back down to 70. So it's I've had this kind of vague headache for 2 days because of the up and down barometric pressures. um, so the weather's gone nuts, at least in our area. And of course, if look at the news or you look at any weather stations, it's all over the place. Weather's just crazy. There are some
Have you?
places getting snow,
Oh,
s- some
I
places
missed
getting
that one.
flooding. Yeah, it's crazy.
Well, last night's report on the national channels, they showed the United States and it looks like it's on fire everywhere. And the amount of temperature raises and the amount of floods and the amount of tornadoes and people are just I can't imagine what that would be like to see my car underwater or my roof sticking out.
Yeah.
What a terrible thing. But in addition to that, then how do you suppose with all of that high energy and swirling winds and the lightning and the thunders and the vast extremes from one end to the other,
Hmm.
how do you suppose that affects your body?
Well, I know how it affects my body. It affects me with as soon as the barometric pressure goes really high, it's headaches, it's muscle
Mhm.
aches, it's
Mm.
bloating. It feels like my body is under some sort of attack. I mean,
Mm.
it almost feels like an autoimmune attack. And
That's a
it's
good way to put that.
and it's really crazy. Like right now, I have already taken um like Excedrin for the headache.
Mm.
It took the edge
Okay.
off, but it
Mm.
hasn't taken the headache away. It hasn't done anything for the muscle aches. It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy how the weather can affect us physically. And
Yeah.
I hear a lot of people talking about how the weather affects us psychologically
Yes.
or emotionally, but it does affect us physically. Some people cannot physically handle being in cold weather. Other people can't physically handle being in hot weather. I fall into that camp.
Hmm. Hmm.
Especially if it's humid, because that's just,
That's hard.
yeah,
Everything goes haywire when it's humid.
yeah.
Our garbage cans were sweating today. That's how
That's
humid it is. That's
that's
crazy.
crazy.
I just never seen anything like that. You
Wow.
know, when it gets windy out like this, my whole body gets off kilter and my head starts to swirl and I have a tendency of thinking something's wrong with me and or my allergies or whatever. And here it is, just the energies of the world that are just affecting everybody. And then
Yeah,
consequently, you have to think about some of that stuff and say, is this mine? How is
right.
this affecting me? What do I need to do about it? And can I refocus this? But I'm telling you, I've not in many years, other than being horribly sick, over the weekend, I was just almost down for the count. I had no energy. But I'd lay down and then my everything would drain and stuff. Today is actually the first day that I kind of felt better. Last night I was able to pack some stuff. I'm leaving on a trip tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but it's agonizing. I'm nauseous and I'm swirling and I just don't know what's me and what's not me and how to navigate all of this. It's really something.
Yeah, and it's not all weather related. Like you said, it's the energies around the planet. And this ascension thing, it's kind of crazy, but it's no joke. I mean, the
Yeah.
energy on the planet is raising. Look at the amount of earthquakes, look at the amount of storms, look at the amount of everything. Like the energy is just higher. And then we had looked at I had just shared with you the Schumann resonance that over the weekend there was like a blackout. There was like this big burst of white energy, which is, I read through the article, and the white bursts of energy are like the frequency on the planet going way up into 5D, into like this fifth dimensional energy, and then 8.5 hours of nothing. Like it just stopped.
So no wonder I feel like I'm on a roller coaster.
Well,
I'm
yeah,
up, down and all around.
right. And the Schumann resonance actually measures like the heartbeat of the earth.
Yes.
So, yeah, when that's going on and what's super high and then just stops, yeah, you're gonna feel nuts. It's your body is not going to be liking it. I know. And I was at a 2-day event this weekend, and I was feeling it. I was like, I got up on Saturday morning, and there was a sciatic thing going on, which hasn't bothered me in years.
Mm,
Fortunately, there was also a healer there with a biomat and was kind enough to let me lie on it and get some healing on my nerves. But yeah, it's just been crazy, and it's all of these crazy energies are affecting each of us individually, right? So
right.
we all tend to feel like there's something wrong with us personally,
Yes.
and
That's
that's not
exactly
it.
right.
Yeah,
Mm.
that's a way to put it. But it feels personal, but it isn't, because if it was, why would everybody else be experiencing it too?
Yeah, if you're sharing some of your information with other people about how they feel,
Hmm.
then that's kind of a dead giveaway of how the world is operating. But on the other hand, if you're kind of isolated and you're not talking to anybody, you really don't know. So, and again,
Exactly.
I just always think it's me, and 99% of the time it's not, but
And most
at least,
people do think it's them. That's kind of my point.
yeah.
Most people do think it's them.
Yeah.
So it's really an interesting thing, because I am constantly in communication with people. Like
Yeah.
if my phone is on, I am in communication, because somebody's messaging me, somebody's texting me, somebody's notifying me of a post somewhere, somebody is calling me. I'm always in communication with people, except when I'm asleep, and even then I'm still in communication. It's just not with people on earth, it's other people.
Yeah. Right.
So it is an interesting thing, because I am in contact with so many people so much of the time that I get to see the commonalities, where
Yeah.
people who are not in constant communication with other people don't.
So not only do we have storms and stuff, then we have the sun and the solar flares
Oh yeah.
acting up, which I don't know about you, but that really affects me as well.
Yeah.
It like the sun is puking up stuff and we have no control over any of it. We're just, and maybe we'll wake up one day and we'll have some aliens managing the world, and then we'll know
What
we're,
makes you think they're
we're
not now? I mean, if you want to go down a rabbit hole.
well, I don't know. And maybe Sasquatch is out there too. He, she, them. They're
Yeah,
all out there laughing at us. Look at those dopey people.
right. Not the smartest, not the sharpest tools in the drawer, we humans.
Right.
But yeah, the thing is, like, I have really just come to the point where I just don't know. And I don't really discount much of anything because I don't know. Just because it hasn't been proven, almost everything they say hasn't been proven also hasn't been disproven.
Yes.
So why discount it?
Yeah. You
Why
don't know that it
say,
is, but you don't know
yeah,
that it's not either.
right, exactly.
Yeah.
Why say it's not possible when nobody actually knows?
Right. We're, we're, we're all a captive audience. I think if we get up in the morning and say our morning prayers and thank the universe for all that we have and use the right amount of energy that we have in store to deliver our day with the best
Mm-hmm.
that we can and go with
Yeah.
the flow rather than trying to push it, pull it, shove it, doing things, trying to go fast, trying to make things, a silk purse out of a sow's ear.
Mm-hmm.
I think we'd all be better off, but I think we all have expectations of
Mm-hmm.
what our day should look like. And when it doesn't turn out that way, it gets a little frustrating. Uh, it's an interesting time for sure.
Yeah, it is. And a lot of that is just socially ingrained in us, you know.
Yes.
Work hard, work hard, work hard. You're going to get where you're going by working hard. Well, if that was true,
We'd have been there by now. I
well, not
would have
only would
been.
we have been there by now, but there would be a whole lot of rich women in third world countries.
Oh, oh my gosh, yes.
You know, and, men too, but there's it's not all about working hard. It's about being in the right frame of mind and in the right energy space when you're doing the work. And for me, if the work isn't inspired, it doesn't go anywhere anyway.
Right. Well, and if you can't do it with love,
Mm-hmm.
and you're doing it with some other less than emotion, it's not going to be a quality thing. You're not going to be proud of it.
Mm-hmm.
And you're going to have to go back and finish it up and at the end of the day anyway.
Right. Right.
So the
So,
moral of the story is, go with the flow and do what you can with what you have and be
right.
grateful for that.
Right. And I am in no way because I can already hear like all these ultra conservative family members in the background going, "Well, you can't just be lazy and not do anything and expect everything to come to you." And that's not even close to what I'm saying. You
That's
know,
not the point. Right.
that's not even the point. The point
Mhm.
is if you're following your inspiration and you're doing work that matters to you, that moves you forward,
Right.
you know? And let's all face it, we have all had jobs that did not inspire us, that, that did not move us forward in any way, except maybe
Right.
keeping us alive long enough to get to the next thing.
Yeah.
But yeah.
It put food on the table.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of that, I was just thinking over the last couple of days that my last job, not my last job, the job before that, I spent 7 years in a position that when I look back at that, I really don't even know what I accomplished. And it
Mm-hmm.
was such a sad thing for me that I absolutely hated my job. It was just really a sappy thing.
Oh
And
yeah,
to
we talked
try to,
about that a lot.
well, now I'm being repetitive.
No, no, you're not. But what I'm saying is, I was there with you through that journey.
Yeah.
And, you know, yeah, I get it.
When you're dealing with people who are not awake and
Hmm.
are self-centered, um,
Yeah.
and try to gaslight you into thinking that you're the one that's wrong, um, and tell you that they are all for something. And at the end of the day, when you look at everything that has happened, it's really not that. So it becomes pretty disheartening.
Yeah,
Uh,
it does.
so I just went down a rabbit hole. I apologize for that.
Why? That's what we do here. We jump from one rabbit hole to the
We should,
next.
we
So
should, we should probably just call this Bobby's rabbit hole.
well, you're not the only one because as you were talking, I was thinking that really aptly describes my previous marriage,
Oh,
you know?
wow. How many people do you suppose, how many people in the world do you suppose are in situations and relationships and jobs that they hate every day?
Based on what I see on social media,
Wow.
a lot,
Yeah.
a lot.
And all they can do is get up and complain about it every single day.
Yeah, and when you feel like you're stuck and you can't move forward or you don't know where to move to, you don't know what your next step is, it's easy to get caught in that.
Yes. And your attitude just goes down and down and down, no matter
Hmm.
how many times you try to bring it up and do things with love. You do the best that you can. Um,
Right.
it's a tough
Yeah,
situation.
it is. And that is really a lot about what this ascension is about, is to move people out of that, to move people out of that feeling stuck, to move people out of putting up with being miserable for years on end, to
Yeah.
put, that's what this whole ascension thing is about. It's about us learning to honor ourselves so that we can honor others in a more honest, authentic way.
So, do you suppose that when people get in situations like this, and given the energy of today, the ascension energy, where it's kind of that sliver in your foot that you have to walk around on every day,
Hmm.
and it starts to ooze and it starts to swell and it starts to pop and go everywhere. Eventually, yes, eventually the sliver comes out. But the point that I'm trying to make is I suspect that when you're caught in situations like uh, that all of a sudden there comes a day when the universe takes over and puts you where you're supposed to be,
Ideally. But
or not supposed to be, or you don't want to be there. It
well,
makes
and that's the
it
other
rough.
thing. It's like the whole point of this is to teach us that we create our own reality by the choices we make
Yeah.
every day. So if I get up in the morning and I make the same choice to go to the same miserable job every day and I don't take any steps towards changing that, I'm not taking any classes, I'm not looking for another job, I don't have any feelers out there, and just keep doing the same thing over and over and over, that's still a choice. It's a choice to
Yes.
not make a choice to change, but it's still a choice.
Right. Or you think someone's going to rescue you. You think someone's
Hmm.
going to notice you and doing a good job. That doesn't happen very often. If,
Rarely. Yeah.
yeah, if ever, unless someone sees that you're putting out 3 times the effort and the work that someone else is, and then
Hmm.
perhaps gives you a little nugget and a little pay raise. And
Or a pat on the back.
right. Yeah, that's about right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, we've
It's
certainly gotten
interesting.
off to an interesting conversation
We
today.
have, we have. What was it? The weird energies. That's what we
Weird
started
energy.
talking about was the weird
Yes.
energies that are happening right now on planet Earth and all of the insanity that goes along with it. You know what I mean? Um,
Yeah.
there's just we're all kind of feeling nuts at the moment. Everybody, and I hate bringing this up, but I'm going to. So we have an election coming up, presidential election in the United States. I'm going to say most people are not thrilled with either candidate.
I'm pretty sure you're right. Absolutely.
But then there are those diehards on both sides,
Mhm. Yeah.
and it's like, well, they're speaking for what they want. But what about, I kind of feel like those of us who are not really thrilled with either candidate are going to have to make a choice as to the least undesirable
Right.
candidate. and and we don't all agree on what that is. For anybody who doesn't live in the United States, we don't all even agree on who the least desirable is, much less who the most desirable is. So um, it is interesting, though, to watch these energies coming to a point where it has to get so bad that it's supposed to wake us up. And still, there's still a pretty good chunk of people
Mm.
not waking up, not understanding that this is what's happening. This goes way out beyond our country. It goes way out
Yes.
beyond our
It's the
state.
world.
It's the
Yes,
world,
it's the world. Well,
and
the
probably
interesting,
beyond that.
well, the universe, that's
Yeah.
correct.
Yeah.
Uh, and again, how many slivers can you take in your foot before it blows up and,
Mm-hmm.
blows your foot apart type of thing, where you absolutely have to do something about it. The situation is very interesting in that, we fired the president before
Mm-hmm.
with a new president, and now those are the only choices we have. Anyway, I didn't want to talk about it either, but it was
Yeah.
on the top of my head about talking about politics and how people can skew, how it's their perception of things. And
Oh,
not to
yeah.
say that,
For all of us.
yes, correct.
Yeah.
Your perception is your view to the world, and it's how you look at everything.
Mm-hmm.
Um, the outcome is depending on who's on which side,
Mm-hmm.
can be rather daunting. And someone's going to lose. I don't know. And I have to keep coming back to the discussion we had with Marcus being the year of the dragon, the wood
Mm-hmm.
dragon, where the wood is actually the fire, it's fueling the fire. And the dragon just keeps breathing all that fire and igniting the wood. And that feels like pretty much what this country is going through right now in terms of both, the weather and the climate and the atmosphere.
And if you
And
look beyond our country, it's everywhere.
yes, and oh gosh,
It's everywhere. It's not just our country. And I am not anyone who has ever been patriotic. I'll take my lumps for that. I don't understand patriotism. It doesn't make sense to me. We're all people and we all share one planet. Let's start acting like it.
right.
That's
Just
where
be
I come
kind.
from. Just be kind. It's not that
Yeah.
hard, you know.
Mhm.
But I don't understand patriotism, and I've never been a flag waver or anything like that, and I don't intend to ever be. So for me, it's more about how are we treating people, whether they're
Yes,
in our country, whether they're on the other side of a border, whether imaginary lines, because that's what borders are, they're imaginary lines. Um, hmm, I'm trying not to cross lines here, but I think I already have. It really does come down to just just be nice. It's not that hard. It's
well,
not that hard to just be kind to each other.
that's an interesting point that you make, and I'm going to play the devil's advocate.
Okay.
So you're telling people to be nice, and the guy who's not nice thinks he is nice,
That's the
thinks that,
problem.
right.
That's the problem.
It's their perception of things. I
Yes.
thought I was being nice.
And there's a huge difference. I want to make a clarification here. There's a big difference between nice and kind,
Correct.
because anybody can be nice to get what they want.
Correct. It's an overused
Kindness,
word.
right? Kindness comes from the heart.
Yes.
So I want to be very clear in those two things. Nice to me is not, it's more surface, it's less meaningful than kindness.
Superficial.
Yeah.
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 You go through the motions, you really don't feel it anyway, but you just
Yeah.
do it.
So
Which
any
isn't
Jack,
I mean,
yeah.
at the end of the day, if you can't be nice, then you'd have nothing. But acting like you're nice is better than being mean. You
Maybe.
know what I mean? I mean, it's inauthentic, but still. Well, we've gotten into some subjects here.
We have, yeah. Um, and really, when you come down to it, people who are happy with themselves, people who are at peace with themselves, don't treat other people poorly.
Correct.
So,
Yeah.
so then that cycles right around to the mental health crisis worldwide.
Yeah.
And it is not just in the United States. I have
No.
friends in other countries too, and they're like, great, you need help. There's a 2 year waiting list, you know? And in
Yeah.
some countries, that's a reality. And in this country, it's a reality if you can't afford it.
Yes. Which is the sad part about
Yeah,
everything because you can't afford it.
right.
I spent 3 years in a job in the Department of Psychiatry, and I worked for a private physician, um, a private practice group of physicians. And that was an enlightening experience for me.
Hmm.
Uh, there's just not enough people out there that actually care about other people's mental health. But, another interesting subject on mental health is that people like you and I, who are mediums
Hmm.
and who have some gifts, along with the rest of the world who either refuses to use them or just doesn't even understand that there are such a thing.
Right.
So you have people that have gifts, can hear and see things, and then you have the other half of the world in mental health telling them that they're nuts for seeing those things.
Yeah.
And to add insult to injury, there's not enough people out there on either side of the fence to even take care of the people that are sick and need
Hmm.
help.
Right. Right.
What a conundrum. And so, again, here we are, just doing the best we can every single day with what we
Right.
have, trying to be kind
Exactly.
and trying to get up and make another, house payment or, pay the rent and have groceries put on your table every day and
And
hope that your
gas in your
children are.
car or whatever, you know. Um, I just, the whole thing with the mental health crisis is that's human created.
Yes.
The whole thing was created by humans.
Yeah.
Now we can go down some really deep rabbit holes on all of
Wow.
the different ways on how that was created by humans. But the bottom line is that didn't just fall down from the stars and go, oh, well, this species really needs some mental health issues. You know, it didn't happen that way.
Funny thing, we all got that.
So,
On any given day, it's me who needs the help. On any
yeah.
given day, it can be the guy next door. And what I learned in psychiatry and what the doctor said to me once, 1 out of 3 people that are coming at you on the street when you're driving,
Hmm.
1 out of 3 is crazy. Isn't that interesting? I think it's
That's
probably more so now, however. And again, everybody's got issues. It just depends on how you handle them and how you
right.
choose to solve them with your mature adult. If you're going to be the protector or, the guardian or, someone who instigates stuff, it's just a matter of how you solve the problem, which brings me to another. Neil Donald Walsh wrote
Yeah.
the book, um, not messages,
Conversations with God.
Conversations with God.
Yeah.
Did you see the book? It's
Hmm.
like a Bible. It's thick.
And
So
there are
all
many of them.
right.
Yeah.
God love him. What
Yeah.
a great thing. Who are you
Yep.
to say that he's not talking to you?
Yep. Exactly. And who is someone else to say that God is not talking to you? God, goddess, whatever you consider it.
Yeah,
Um, who, we can't judge that for each other, any more than we can say dragons and fairies aren't real because we've never seen them.
you don't know that. That's
We don't know
correct.
that.
Yeah,
We don't know that. God could very well be. And I don't know. I mean, I think whatever it is that you believe in is whatever your higher power is probably communicating with you on a pretty regular basis.
right.
You
And
might
I
not be listening,
there's that.
but the communication is happening. Yeah.
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 What an interesting world we live on. And it's all about perception. I worked
Yeah.
for a physician once that said perception is everything.
Hmm. Yeah.
Changes your if you perceive someone to be good, they are. If
Right.
you perceive that person, that very same person is bad, then they are.
Right. And I have seen, I don't know if it's memes or stories or whatever you want to call it, but, sometimes you just have to be at peace with being the villain in someone else's story.
Well, right. Not only are we here to teach each other and to learn from each other, but
Hmm.
again, that perceptive thing, I didn't mean to hurt him kind of thing. And
Hmm.
so because I was the villain in that story, doesn't mean that I did it intentionally. It just
Right,
means that how they perceived it.
right.
And
Now, of course, we are excluding flat out violence from this
yes,
conversation. I
yes.
mean, just to be clear.
I love that you clarify those things because I just never think of it.
Just to be clear, we are
And so,
excluding the flat out violence from this conversation. So, yeah.
so going back to Neil Donald Walsh and his conversations with God,
Hmm.
it has been said by him and perhaps a few others that there is no such a thing as right and wrong. It's
Okay.
all how you perceive it. Because to the guy
Yeah.
who's committing some things, that's right for him. And I probably shouldn't even have said that. Really, that's probably,
Well, don't, no, because you brought up a good point. You brought up a really good point. Um, I really feel like, and I get that on a spiritual level, right? It's all about experience. It's all about what we are experiencing here.
yeah,
We chose our experiences, blah, 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 blah. And I get that to a point. I do. When we leave this world, whatever we were experiencing here has taught us something. And
yeah,
that's where I think that where that transition takes place to things aren't right or wrong. It's all about the experience. But when we are here in physical bodies and someone violently assaults us, I'm sorry, that's wrong.
that's wrong.
Go to
Right,
jail. Do not pass go. Do not collect $200. Just go
right.
right to jail.
Well,
Yeah,
we are formed by the opinions of society,
right.
and society tells us what their version of right and wrong is.
And that depends on which society you're in too.
Correct.
you know.
Yeah. I could tell you a story, and it's really kind of an outlandish story.
Okay.
It was a somewhat of a international healing center, and there was a Turkish man who said to me, in my country we can have two wives. And I said, "Oh, isn't that interesting?" I said, "Why can't I have two husbands?" And he said to me, "Well, do you think you could take care of them?" And I said, "Well, of course I can take care of them. And beside that, I don't want to take care of them. I want them to take care of me." And he looked at me. Wow, I never heard that before. That's interesting. Yeah, who said that women have to take care of men? Why can't men take care of women?
And why can't people just take care of people?
Why can't you just take care of each other? Right.
Yeah.
If you
And
see
that's really what
somebody,
it boils down to
yeah,
anyway. In any relationship that you enter into voluntarily, that's absolutely the way it should be.
yeah,
Taking
I'm
care of
not your
each other.
slave. Yep, not your
Mm-hmm.
slave. Neither is the next guy.
Mm-hmm.
Do your own stuff. You need help, ask.
Yeah. Do your own work. Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
If
right.
anything has been brought to light in the last 4 or 5 years, we all got some deep inner work to do. I haven't met anybody who doesn't,
Well, right. And you
any
know,
adults anyway.
true. We have picked out the lessons. The
Mm-hmm.
question is did you learn from them? And did you mature enough to be able to heal yourself to get on to the next level? Or are you going to carry that around
Yeah.
forever?
That's interesting because I kind of changed my perspective on that. I don't think we're here to learn lessons. I think we're
I
here
think
to
we're here to enjoy.
experience. I think we are here to experience what we already know because there's a difference between knowing something and knowing what something feels like through experience. I,
Yes,
I
sure.
feel like we're here to experience, not necessarily learn lessons. And that confused me for a long time because I kept looking for the lesson book. I kept looking for the plans. Like, okay, where's the curriculum? If we're here to learn lessons, where's the curriculum? There's no curriculum.
There's no book.
There's no book.
Yeah,
We are
like raising
here
kids.
to experience. And what we experience hopefully we gained something from. But I never bought, I have stopped buying into, I used to buy into it. I have stopped buying into the idea of we are here to learn lessons to move to the next level because there's no blueprint for that anywhere.
Yeah, you're right.
I
We
don't
are
know, it
here to
just
learn and
confused me,
experience. But yeah, so if you're not learning anything, you're not making enough mistakes.
I guess.
Most of the time, you learn the best when you make a mistake. You know what not to do
Absolutely.
next time.
Yeah. And really, it's about, not everybody wants the same thing, right? So we don't all want the same things out of life.
Thank God for that.
Yeah, exactly. So there couldn't really be like one book that teaches us, okay, here's lesson one, here's lesson two, here's lesson three. It wouldn't work because we're not all going in the same direction. We're not all wanting the same things. And
Mm.
therefore, we're not all going to be experiencing the same things.
We're all on a different level, not higher, lower, or anything. We're all on a
Mhm.
different
We're all on
path.
our own path, right?
Mm.
So,
Yeah.
um, we can all be on our own path, but the bottom line is our paths intersect with a lot of people,
Yes,
with very
that's
few exceptions.
what fun is. I don't want to be that guy.
Yeah.
Now that we've gotten out of our hole and gone down a different one, someone is messing with your screen again.
Well, really?
Uh-huh.
$10, I know who it is.
Who do you think it is?
I think it's Logan.
It's one of those hurry up, get off this subject. He's trying to make us move on.
Well, it's either Logan or Zach. I don't know. They both died the same year. So,
Mm.
um, yeah. But anyway, so I'm not using Logan's camera because his is a wide angle. The camera that he left behind, his webcam. So I'm using the one that I bought because I can narrow in the percent. Okay, basically the bottom line is if I use his camera, you can see every door in the room.
Oh, that's a
So
shortened version of that.
so I'm using a camera that gives a smaller kind of anyway. So yeah, he does. I don't think he likes my camera.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah.
So
Anyway,
on to
thanks,
the next.
Logan.
Uh, are you going on any vacations? I shouldn't presume that whenever you go out of town every weekend, it's not a vacation, but because it
Well,
is a little bit.
it is work, but I
Yes.
enjoy what I do and I enjoy the travel. Actually, this weekend, uh, well, this will air on Monday, so it will have already happened, but I'm going on a paranormal investigation just for fun.
For fun.
For
Who does
fun.
that? Oh,
Everybody I know, except maybe you and my husband. But
yeah, that's not my gig, but okay.
yeah,
I've done them and I thought it was for fun. Did you hear that bell just ring?
I heard something.
Okay.
I don't
Well,
know what it was.
it was my screen. I'm sorry.
Oh, anyway,
Yeah.
no, there's a group of us from different uh, teams, different paranormal investigation teams that are all going to the same place. And
And where's
so
that?
that is at the wait, I gotta say it right, haunted 1961 Masonic Lodge in Keithsburg, Illinois.
A Masonic Lodge.
A
Well,
mas-
that ought to be interesting.
yeah, especially with the number of women going.
Oh, really?
Yeah, there's a lot of women going on this one. So
Hmm.
yeah, it'll be interesting. And I don't have any paranormal investigation material, like I don't have the machines that blink and all that, right? It's just me and my intuition. And I'll use my phone camera because that will pick up anomalies now and then. But other than that, it's just me and my intuition. But there will be other people there who have like the EMF meters, the electromagnetic field meters, and the voice phenomena meters, and all that kind of stuff. Um, we'll see what happens. I'm excited to go mostly because it's just going to be fun, a fun trip with some people who are just fun people. But yeah, looking forward to it. You know, we're going to be in a building with no electricity and no running water. We do have an Airbnb close by though that we rented, so you know people can still use the restroom and take a shower or whatever, and maybe even take a nap because we have this building for 21 hours. So I don't know about anybody else. I'm not doing a 21-hour investigation straight through. I'm going to leave and take a nap.
So I have to ask you this
Yeah.
because I've asked this question before to other people. So do spirits sleep?
Not that I'm aware of, but I never really thought to ask them if they sleep. I don't think they need to. They're pure energy.
Hmm. Well, I want you to ask them. I want to know the answer. One of
I'm
my
hearing a lot of
teachers
laughing.
in your head, right?
Well, yeah, but not from my own brain.
Got it.
Um,
Yeah.
I'm getting no, there's no need for it.
Okay. Do they rest at all? I mean,
Whenever they want to. The thing
okay.
is that they don't hold form. They create the form to come through to give a message or to talk to somebody, but they don't have to hold that form all the time. They can just be free floating energy anywhere they want to.
Hmm.
So,
So, uh, our friend Glenn Bottis
yeah.
does the show From Beyond or something, and
Yeah.
this last one that we listened to last night,
Mhm.
I thought was pretty incredible. If
Mhm.
you have a chance to watch that or to listen to it, it was really cool.
Right.
And he channeled somebody, a couple of people, and his voice was crazy weird. That
Yeah.
was kind of wild.
He does that.
It's well, I mean, it is. So I don't have any paranormal equipment either. What I do have is all the hair on my body that stands up on end,
Mhm.
and
Yes.
when something is around. So I am aware. I don't need any fancy gadgets that make noise. I
Mhm.
just know it. So
Right.
save your money. Yeah, and it's good. Uh, yeah, I can hear him talk. In fact, I have to tell you, last week, did I tell you about I go to this playground periodically, and I'm doing it to soothe my inner child. But as a kid, I love swinging.
Mhm.
So there's a playground up the road from me, and I have been there several times. Uh, and I've been there several times when there have been people there. And
Mhm.
one of the kids actually said, who is that? Because I was on the swing, poor kid. And there were many other swings. It wasn't like I was taking his swing or anything like that. I think he was just so taken that a grown up was swinging.
Mhm.
Anyway, um, this particular time, just the other day, I started swinging, and all of a sudden, it felt like someone was in back of me. I thought, oh my God, I'm going to swing and hit this person. And then I heard the voice. It was an older guy, and he was kind of yelling at me because I was swinging on the swings. So he was, what's up with that, Christina? How come I have these visitations from older guys that are crabby? The old man in the tree, and then there's this guy, and
Okay,
what are
let's clarify for our audience. You're talking about ghosts.
I am spirits.
Okay.
That's correct. I'm sorry.
You're not talking about just old men who walk up and start yelling at you.
No,
Okay.
no. You know what?
I knew what you meant, but I wanted to
That's
clarify for everybody else.
yeah. That's when my black belt would kick in. So,
Yeah,
but no,
exactly.
it's
Well,
very interesting.
yeah, it's interesting, but I the first thing that popped into my head when you asked me that question was that you have some unresolved issues with male authority figures, and that's why you hear them who
Uh,
assert themselves as authorities, whether they are or not. Uh,
wow, I do. I do have issues.
that was the first thing that came up. That's the first thing that popped into my head
Yeah,
was that they're
that's
still unresolved.
the
So
father issue.
yeah, you keep inviting that into your experience unconsciously, totally unconsciously, but because it keeps appearing, it tells me that you are working on that energy field or in that energy field.
Hmm. Okay. I will take that under advisement and pray to change and be, be a little bit more
Let go of
strong.
that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Release the fear of
Yeah.
male authority figures. Um,
Mm.
for me, I get a lot of comedians. And I don't mean like famous comedians. I think I just get a lot of ghosts who are funny. Like they're funny.
Well, I'm sure they are. Why wouldn't they be?
Well, right,
Being in this
exactly. But those are the
place.
ones I get most of the time, unless I'm doing a reading for someone.
I love that.
Yeah.
Better than having, a mean one
Yeah.
yelling at.
Yelling at you for swinging.
Ah, I was so disappointed. Like, shut up. You care. Nobody
Don't.
else hears swinging anyway.
I, you know, you know me. I
Yes.
would be like, did I ask for your opinion? No. So keep it to yourself.
Well, the interesting part was it was so stuck in my field that I felt like I was going to hit something. I felt
Yeah.
like someone was in back of me.
Yeah. Was it the other day? In fact, in my new place, I was here. John was at work. Kids hadn't showed up yet. So I'm here by myself. And I was in the kitchen and I took a step back and it felt like I stepped on somebody's foot. And out of reflex, I said, oops, sorry, excuse me. And I went, wait a minute. And I turned around, saw nobody, but I felt it. I know I stepped on somebody's foot. That's how real it felt.
So did it grunt or anything? No noises? Ugh, ouch. No.
No, it was probably either my kid or my ex, one of the two.
Hmm. The camera just unfocused just a couple seconds ago, just so you know. What are you
There you
talking
are.
about? Yeah, right. Yeah, and right after the sensation of someone was in back of me, then all the hair on my body started to stand up. So
Mm-hmm.
trying to navigate through that while I was swinging in a windy day, I could still
Yeah.
feel that the hair was standing up on my body.
Yeah.
The more sensitive you become, the more things you notice.
Mm-hmm.
Not that I've asked for it. And maybe this ascension thing is kicking my rump because I'm supposed to be doing something a little bit different. And it's shifted me. And honestly, I'm leaving for a retreat in Sedona.
Mm-hmm.
And the instructions were a week before, which is now, you should fast and eat very lightly. Well, I've been so darn nauseous and so sick that I haven't been able to eat much anyway.
Huh. Imagine that.
I know. I had an apple today. I was so excited about this wonderful Honey Crisp apple, and I cut it open and I started to eat it, and it tasted horrible. I could taste every chemical on the peeling of the apple. It was horrible. I threw the apple away. It was bitter. It
Mm-hmm.
was weird. I let someone else try the apple, and of course they said, "I don't, the apple's fine." I'm like, "Really? You eat it." I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Christina, it is
Yes.
not easy being me. I'm just saying. So,
I honor that. I honor that. I feel the
yeah,
same way though. It is not easy being me. I can taste the chemicals in the air. I can, it's like people like, oh, Wisconsin's such a clean place, clean living and farmland. Yeah. Do you know what they spray on that farmland?
yeah,
Yeah. There
either
aren't very,
manure or chemicals.
or a combination thereof. Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah. There aren't a lot of organic farms in Wisconsin that are certified organic,
yeah,
because if you have, and then here I go down another rabbit hole, but if you have your 10-acre parcel and you're growing vegetables organically, but across the road, somebody's spraying Roundup on their field, you don't have an organic farm. It
that's
will
not.
show up in the soil. Yeah.
Yes, that's true. And speaking of that, people who live on a lake
Mm-hmm.
and all the surrounding houses and stuff, when their dog poops on your lawn and they don't clean it up, where do you suppose that goes?
Oh, it gets washed right into the lake. Yeah. Well, the fish poop in there, so why not?
Right. And the geese. Well,
And the
the fish.
geese and all
Well,
the
the geese.
birds.
The geese are an issue, but the
Yes,
fish, they got to do something.
right. They
That
can't
just
just
falls.
hold it.
Excuse me, is this stall empty? Can I use this one?
Boy, how did we get here? Organic farms, that's how we got here.
Yeah, that's
But
right.
yeah, I can too. I can taste on the food. I can taste the chemicals in all the food that has it in it. And yeah, it's
And tomatoes. Don't get me started on tomatoes.
oh,
Please.
they don't like me anyway, so I just don't.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah.
Tomatoes and bananas for you, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm.
It's been tomatoes and bananas. And then there are other foods I just can't stomach because yuck.
Well,
You know?
over this last week, I've noticed that like early on it, well, today is only Tuesday. What am I saying? Within the last 3 days, whatever it was that I've eaten, chicken, fish, a different kind of meat, none of it tasted good. It
Yeah.
was all very heavy. I couldn't tolerate it. And again, I just stopped eating. It just, the only thing, I ate a lot of watermelon
Hmm.
and the
Yeah.
stinking apple that tasted crappy. Pissed about that. It's fresh out of the store. Anyway, I was going to bring
Yeah.
apples along on my trip. Not so much. So,
Yeah. Well, and here's the thing that your body is responding to what your soul is reaching for. So you're going to this spiritual retreat in Sedona. You were told to eat light, and your body's like, okay, we're eating light because your soul is reaching for that higher level, and your brain is going, hold up, I didn't sign up for this.
right. I just spent money on the apple now and I got to throw it away. Not what I
Well,
saw.
guess what? Your soul did sign up for this. So
It's an
your
expensive.
brain, well, your brain is going to have to come to the conclusion that this ascension is actually a good thing for you.
Yeah, there's no doubt about that. It's good for all of us. The thing
Mhm.
is trying to figure out how to navigate it so that we're comfortable. But
Well,
I,
nobody's comfortable right now. I can tell you
yeah,
that.
I
Nobody.
agree. I agree. Yeah,
Nobody's comfortable.
I'm
And
one of them.
it's okay. This is what we call flying by the seat of our pants. And a lot of us, especially those of us who are earth signs, do not like to fly by the seat of our pants. And it's uncomfortable.
Hmm. I like to be anchored in the earth. None of that flying by the seat of your pants thing.
I have so much Virgo in my chart. It's ridiculous. But I've got a rising Scorpio that just wants to float.
That's an interesting combination.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yep.
Well, that's why you and I
So,
get along because I'm a Capricorn and you're a Virgo. But
yep.
my rising sign is Gemini,
Interesting.
which is a big telltale sign about all the different personalities that come out. My twins.
Well, it's not only that, but with Geminis and Libras have this thing where they can see both sides and you look
Yeah,
at both sides.
yeah.
And because you're a Capricorn, you choose the most logical side, usually. And but the other part of your Gemini is going, wait up, there's more.
Depends on who
Yeah.
steps up first as far as how I
Yeah.
see it. But I can see both sides of it. And
Hmm.
sometimes it's like, I think you have an issue, Bobby. You're not even right about this. But it seems each issue sounds right on both sides. I can see both sides of it. So
Yeah.
I don't know. Life is
Life is
again,
weird.
it's not easy being me. So, but I'm
I
sure
feel
everybody
that.
else says we all have our crosses to bear and whatnot. So I'm leaving for a retreat, which of course I'm really all befuddled about what to wear because it's going to be 110 degrees
Hmm.
outside and probably 40 below inside. And do I need to bring my slippers? And
I would.
right. And then you go outside and you want to peel off all of your clothes. Oh,
Yeah. There's a reason I don't live in the desert.
I don't I don't like the creatures in the desert. There's
Mm,
far and few between, but they're pretty spooky, the ones that are out there.
Yeah, I just don't like the idea of all that sand and no water. It's like
Yeah.
choking all the time. Yuck.
Well, we've done a really positive podcast today. Here
Boy,
we all
haven't we? I hope you all come back next week when we're in a better mood.
we're just sitting here bitching today. It's
In the
just
meantime, hit the subscribe button, like, ring the bell, share with your friends, and order a really cool what the heck am I doing here? Whoa, there we go.
and
A
yeah,
really cool coffee mug.
let us know if you want a mug or if you
Yeah,
want to hear someone else but the two of us ranting and raving on the
yeah.
podcast.
We promise to have other guests back again.
Yeah, pretty soon.
Somebody's got to keep us in line.
Pretty pretty sure people are just going to start shutting it off.
No. It's nice that we're human, and that's the feedback we get is that people like that we're human and that we're authentic. And authentic isn't always a good mood, and authentic isn't always comfortable.
That's true.
So,
We're pretty authentically weird, and
well, that is true, both of us.
yeah, we're
Yeah.
upfront about how weird we are too.
Yep. No problem there.
Yeah. So, well, thank you all for coming this week. It's been a
Yeah.
pleasure. Like
And
Christine said, write us if you want a cup
yeah.
because they're cool cups, darn it all.
Yeah. They're more like mugs, actually. They're pretty
They are.
heavyweight and
They're
a
very big.
solid.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't. They're great for tea. They're great for coffee. They're awesome.
You don't
And
have to.
thank you again, Creations by Rini,
Yes.
for these beautiful mugs because she created them for us. So if you want more information on her, let me know. I have it. So
Thanks again,
cool.
you guys. Have a great afternoon. And are we doing a show next week because I'm out of town or no?
No,
I'm
because you're not going to be available. So
right. Okay.
yeah. So no show next week. Well, we're launching this one on Monday, but then the following Monday, hold up, because I need a calendar, right?
That is the week of the 1st of July through the 6th. I'm out of town at the end of the week for the next week. So this
Right.
is
So no show July 1st, but we will be back. Are we going to be back on July 8th? Oh no,
uh
the show we're doing right now launches
yes.
on the 1st. We
Yes,
will not be here on the 8th.
correct.
Okay.
We'll not be here on the 8th. We'll be
We
back
will
on the 15th, the week of
on
the
the
15th.
15th. Yep. Awesome.
Now that you
Well,
have our administrative calendars, make sure you write that down.
yeah, right.
And by the way, if the program wasn't called Breakfast with Bobbi, it could go on without me, but
Nope.
that
Nope.
it
Can't go on without Bobbi. So that's the way
right.
it is. And
If
so
someone wants to be an imposter for Bobbi, come on over. We'll let you.
there we go. Do you know another Bobby? I don't know. We'll see. All right.
Take care, y'all. Thanks again.
Bye.
Bye.